All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're bombarded with tech news literally every single day, right? But today, we're cutting through all that noise. We're going to look at how a tiny 6-sentence update completely flips the script on who is actually winning the AI race.
Think about how you probably view the landscape right now. Almost everybody treats the AI race like some giant boxing match, right? We're all scoring it based on these flashy model releases. Whoever drops the coolest model this month is crowned the undisputed champ, and then, next month, somebody else drops something and the whole narrative flips. It's exhausting. It feels like a constant ping-pong match. But here's the thing. The actual winner isn't being decided in the headlines. It's being decided much, much more quietly behind the scenes.
In that quiet shift, it was just broadcasted to the entire world in exactly 6 sentences. Just recently, Andre Karpathy posted this super concise update on X. Now, to the untrained eye, sure, it's just another corporate job update. But if you actually follow this space, you know that this brief little post just handed us the ultimate signal for where the whole field of artificial intelligence is actually heading.
All right, part 1, the 6-sentence shift.
Which brings us to part 2. Who exactly is Andre Karpathy?
So, to understand why a single guy changing his email address matters way more than any new model drop, we've got to talk about the heavyweight mind we're dealing with here. When Karpathy speaks, the people who track this stuff for a living, they immediately sit up straight. Back in 2015, he was literally one of the original minds in the room at OpenAI. He was on the founding team. Not just a logo on a pitch deck, but an actual builder. Then, he moves over and becomes the director of AI at Tesla, where he builds the vision system that's actively driving cars down the highway at 70 miles an hour. That's not some theoretical desk job. That is shipping high-stakes, real-world utility. Oh, and he's also the guy who coined the term vibe coding, which basically predicted how half the developer world is currently writing software with AI agents. And today, he just announced he's joining Anthropic.
But his influence goes way beyond his corporate resume. His intellectual footprint is just massive. I mean, he wrote the absolute iconic essay, Software 2.0, which basically nailed exactly how we'd all be building things today using neural networks instead of traditional hard-coded logic. Plus, his free online courses have taught literally millions of people how neural nets actually work under the hood. You could easily argue he's taught more developers how to build in this AI era than most major universities combined.
Moving on to part 3, the real AI scoreboard.
So, when a mind with this kind of undeniable gravity picks a side, it forces us to rethink everything. It forces us to look at the real metric of success in this industry. The paradigm shift is honestly pretty simple. We've been looking at the wrong scoreboard. Scoring companies on model releases and flashy PR is just pure noise. Let's be real, a model's only the best in the world for what, about 6 weeks? The lead changes every single release cycle. But the right scoreboard? That's bench depth. Talent gravity, the ability to attract and keep brilliant minds, is the compounding asset that actually builds the next 10 models. Models are temporary, but top-tier talent, that's structural.
And right now, all that immense talent gravity is pointing squarely at Anthropic. We're talking about a company that only started in 2021, and they're currently valued around $380 billion. And honestly, with the level of talent they're absorbing right now, sources are suggesting they could easily be staring down $1 trillion valuation in the near future.
This really just highlights Anthropic's track record of silent accumulation. Remember, they were founded by Dario and Daniela Amodei, who left OpenAI, taking a very specific worldview with them. This is the exact same team that helped structure RLHF, reinforcement learning from human feedback. Basically, they figured out how to make AI actually line up with what humans want. They built the first constitutional AI, literally giving models written principles to reason against. And most importantly, they've been quietly pulling in senior researchers for a long time. It creates this undeniable pattern of the absolute best talent walking through the exact same door.
But here is the real kicker. Karpathy's true superpower isn't just his ability to do raw research. I mean, plenty of brilliant people can train a neural net. His real superpower is that he is the ultimate on-ramp. What do I mean by that? An on-ramp is the person or the tool whose entire gift is lowering the barrier to entry so regular, everyday humans can actually use complex tech. He takes the absolute most intimidating concepts in AI and makes normal people say, "Oh, okay, I get it now." Anthropic is betting heavily on tools like Claude, Code, and Cowork, and none of that wins if regular people can't figure out how to use it. They didn't just hire a researcher, they hired the literal bridge to the consumer.
To really grasp his influence, just look at this number, 220,000. The GitHub repository built around how Karpathy thinks about coding agents passed 220,000 stars before he even officially stepped foot inside Anthropic.
His ideas, his frameworks, his specific way of building, they were already spreading like wildfire through Anthropic's ecosystem completely on their own. And now, the man himself is actually inside the building. Just sit with the magnitude of that for a second.
Let's look at part 4, the 3-signal method. Because look, watching a famous person change jobs is really just interesting gossip unless you can turn it into a repeatable system for your own strategic advantage, right? So here is the 3-signal method. Step 1, watch where the senior researchers move, not where the money moves. Money is a lagging indicator. A funding round basically just tells you what was true 6 months ago. Talent moving, that tells you what's true today. Step 2, watch the explainers. Pay close attention to what the absolute clearest minds choose to spend their time explaining to others. And step 3, watch the on-ramp. Look at the tutorials, the starter repos, the tooling. Because technology adoption always follows the path of least friction.
The core philosophy here is this: attention is a forecast. This is absolutely vital to remember for your own strategy. When the best, clearest minds out there point their highly limited energy at one specific thing, that is exactly where the next massive wave of normal users is about to go. You don't actually have to guess the future. You just have to track the attention of the explainers.
Which brings us to part 5, move before the headline. Think about how information actually flows on a timeline. Back in 2024, Anthropic was already quietly pulling senior people away from OpenAI. If you were tracking that talent flow back then, instead of just sitting around waiting for press releases, you would have seen Anthropic's bench deepening a full year before this latest announcement today. And what's going to happen 6 months from now? Well, that's when the polished, mainstream recap article finally drops for the general public.
The signal prints early. The headline prints late. I absolutely love this quote. The entire first mover advantage is summarized perfectly right here. If you wait for that polished article in 6 months to tell you that Anthropic has the best team, the advantage is already completely priced out. The market's already moved.
You've got to move while it is still cheap to read the signal. Winning in a fast-moving industry like this isn't about having some magic crystal ball and predicting the future. No way. It's about having the willingness to read the signals that are already sitting there in plain sight, like 6 sentences on a social media feed, and actually acting on them before the rest of the world catches on.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to really reflect on today. Are you reading the talent gravity hiding in plain sight, or are you just waiting for the crowd to agree with you? Think deeply about how you're tracking your own industry right now. What 6 sentences are you scrolling right past today that you absolutely should be building your business around tomorrow? Keep your eyes on the real scoreboard. I'll see you next time.